Welcome into Arsenal Report, and it is a absolute disaster of a season again for Arsenal, falling short for the fourth year in a row in that April and May period, just seemingly unable to get it done at the end of the season, whether it's injuries this year, injuries the year Saliba got hurt on the run-in, injuries the year Partey got hurt in the run-in for top four, inability to score goals in crucial moments. Truly, last year is the only year where we didn't really fall short. I mean, we didn't win the title, but we didn't do it to our own harm. We won 15 of our last 16 matches or something like that, and the only one being the Aston Villa match. And yes, Trossard opened net early in that game to probably win us the title. But the way that we have crumbled and fallen short in the last 4 years, and to different lengths, the top four season, we ran out of steam when when Tomiyasu and Saliba got hurt and Partey got hurt. The first year we were going for the title. That first year it was when Partey got hurt on the run-in and we couldn't find a midfield with Lokonga and whoever else was there. The second year it was Saliba getting hurt, Tomiyasu getting hurt in that Sporting Lisbon match, ending our season and having to play Rob Holding. The year after that, with just a matter of not getting it done, obviously, with that Aston Villa match. And then this year, not being able to score goals when we needed to score goals. And that was the story of the Premier League fallout and this Champions League fallout. And I don't want to talk too much about the PSG match on its own because it's been overanalyzed. We've all lived it. We should have won. We should have scored more goals. But the question is, how can the board continue to leave us short? How can we continue to come to these seasons where one injury, yes, we have a lot of injuries, but truly one injury of Kai Havertz completely derailed an entire season. A player who most fans didn't even like and probably have a much more appreciation for now than they did before, but it shouldn't come to this. It shouldn't come to us needing to fall short for us to appreciate our players. We should have enough players that we can appreciate them all when they're healthy, and when they're not, we have fill-ins. And we didn't have that this year. And the Premier League, yes, it came down to more than just Havertz. We didn't have any attackers for a while, and we couldn't score goals. But the Champions League, if we had Kai Havertz, there's no way we don't win that PSG leg over two ties. We dominated them. Outside the first 20 minutes at the Emirates, we absolutely dominated PSG, who are one of the best teams in the world right now. Incredibly well coached by Luis Enrique, and they completely deserve to be where they are. They are finishers. They scored goals from .07, .04, and .06 XG. Those were their first three goals. We didn't score goals at all. One goal, and it was a tap-in around the keeper after a missed shot. Mikel Merino had a chance in the very beginning of that second leg to head a ball on net, missed by inches. And that right there, in a nutshell, tells you everything. That one goal would have changed the season, but there's so many times one goal is all we needed to change the way the season could have gone, and we literally didn't have the players to do it. And not to mention Saka clearly playing injured. There's no question about Saka playing injured. We already have spoken about Odegaard is playing injured. Martinelli looks a shell of himself. These players can't get to their best because we didn't have the depth. And I try not to be disappointed. This is progress. We made a Champions League semifinal for the first time in 16 years. The second time in 22 years. That is progress. Second time in the competition with this group of players. We went quarterfinal, then semifinal. We did destroy Real Madrid without a striker. And we outplayed PSG, both home and away. And more impressively last night away in a very hostile environment. I was there. An incredibly hostile environment. And the team looked up for it. But we just didn't have the players to get it done. And I try not to think of this as a disappointment of a season. I really don't, because what were we meant to do with this group of players? What's disappointing is that we're 5 years into this project, and the problem could still be we don't have the right players in. How could we be in a situation where the manager who has gotten better every year, who has been 2 years running, so close to winning the title, each year that much closer, as close as you can get, enough points in both those years that we would have won the title by 10 points this year, and come to a season where he doesn't have the players that he needs? That's the disappointment of a season. That we're talking about players. We're not talking about tactics. We're not talking about amount of energy. We're not talking about the players wanting it enough because they've been there before. We're talking about literally sheer bodies. The substitutions we made last night, chasing a tie, two of them were our wingbacks. We don't have the players. That's the disappointment for Arsenal fans. And it leaves the question of who is to blame for this poor season, quote unquote. I think poor is a short-term way of answering this question, but who is to blame? And listen, I'm not saying I'm not. I've always been Arteta, and I always have been. And I will not point blame on him until I feel that he has gotten the players that the other managers in the world are seemingly getting in. World-class players at nearly every position. World-class attackers who can score from nothing. And Bukayo Saka is my favorite player in the world. And I think he's a top 10 player in the world. But he is not a score-from-nothing player. He can score from nothing, but he is not a Mo Salah or Sadio Mane, Sadio Mane was never world-class. But Sadio Mane could score from nothing. We need players who can do that, who can complement a top 10 player in the world like Bukayo Saka, who can complement a Declan Rice who runs the field for the entire 90 minutes, covering all that space, scoring goals, making last-ditch shackles, and everything in between. We need the complementary pieces, and lots of them. And what we need to do this summer is have the Cronkies back us to do that. Right now, who's to blame is the Cronkies and Edu Gaspar, who is hard to blame because he's not here anymore. But there's no way that those two people are not the people to blame in this situation. It's not the players themselves. It's not the manager. It's the people who are supposed to set those people up for success. Imagine working in a job. You work in sales, but nobody gives you leads. Nobody gives you numbers to call. Nobody gives you a product to sell. That's what we're dealing with right now. And until we get that figured out, this team can only go as far as they've gone. Yes. Should we have at least one trophy in the last 3 years? Yes. It is a bit of a bottle job that we have not won anything in the last 3 years. I think that is 100% the truth. I'm not saying that they're not to blame at all, but to blame them for everything that's gone on, no. They have not been set up for success. And I don't care who you are, if you like Arteta, if you like the players, whatever it is, that is a simple fact of the situation, and there's no way around that. And it leaves what is next, and where does Mikel Arteta go from here? How does he become a successful enough manager at Arsenal where the questions stop getting asked? How does he get to that point where he has earned the trust of the fans? And it's sad, but it's true. We must win a trophy next year. We had to have won a trophy this year. No matter what happens in this summer transfer window, I promise you, you will lose the fan base if you don't win a trophy in the 2025-2026 season, even if it's an FA Cup, even if it's a League Cup. And I don't think that'll answer the questions to me on when this team will reach the pinnacle. But I think it'll be hard for Mikel Arteta to keep his job if we do not win a trophy next year. No matter how well we play, no matter how good we look, even if we get to 95 points in the Premier League, I think his job will actually come into question. His job is not in question at all right now. I can promise you that. I know for a fact his job is not in question right now. But we're sitting here on May 8th of 2026, and there's no chance at any trophies for Mikel Arteta. His job will be under serious question, and the players will want to leave. Bukayo Saka, who spent his whole career here, he'll want to leave, and that's understandable. It's a player who could play at Real Madrid, who could start at Real Madrid. He wants trophies. Look at Harry Kane. He eventually got fed up and left Tottenham, and here I am comparing Arsenal to Tottenham, and it's not the same because we will win trophies, but that's just the truth of the matter. These players are in their prime and entering their prime. They will want answers, and so we need to start winning immediately, and that needs to be backed by the Cronkies. Andrea Bercha needs to go out and do excellent recruitment, and we need to have a world record transfer fee summer for us, a brand new amount of money that we've never spent before, multiple players above the £65 million mark. That is the only way to complete this squad and get us to the place where we need to be. Overpay if you have to overpay. It's been enough of budget signings, underpaying. It has taken us a step back in this project. This project now needs to go 2 steps forward in 1 year because we have taken 1 step back. And next year, 1 trophy is the bare minimum. We should be winning 2 trophies next year. This is a top 5 team in the world who has not won a trophy in 6 years. That's all there is to it. Thanks for watching Arsenal Report. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Give us a like. Throw out a comment. Let me know what you want me to talk about tomorrow. And thanks for watching Arsenal Report.